Congressman Schiff, the ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee. And Congressman, I just want to walk through initially, can you explain these steps you are taking? What is next for Michael Flynn from your committee?
Well, we had invited General Flynn to come and testify before our committee for appropriate documents. That request was denied. It is our practice that we invite people to provide information voluntarily. Then only if necessary we subpoena them, so we are in discussions about issuing the requisite subpoenas now. It's our expectation those should go out, we hope, shortly. We early on agreed to a modus operandi in our committee where the strong presumption would be that if people aren't going to voluntarily cooperate, that we'll subpoena them. Given what he has already said or the interaction with the Senate, it'll be necessary, I think, to subpoena not only his person but his businesses and, of course, explore what other remedies may be necessary if he refuses to comply. As I understand it, the Fifth Amendment only protects someone from providing certain materials but not others. And hopefully General Flynn will comply and it won't be necessary to force the issue, but we believe strongly that it's important that we get whatever information is necessary so we can follow the facts wherever they lead.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that because you are a former prosecutor, of course, and it seems like the main argument from General Flynn's lawyers was that, hey, providing documents about this would essentially amount to providing testimony, then that is something that they can use to invoke the Fifth Amendment. Do you buy that? Do you think these documents are Fifth Amendment protected information?
You know, as I understand the case law on this, there may be some provision of documents that's covered by the Fifth Amendment, but others are not. And if there's an understanding that certain documents are in existence where the providing of those documents does not have a testimonial character to it, then there is no right to withhold that information. So it is, I think, not a bright line, but obviously we're going to need to vigorously pursue this so that we can get to the bottom of it. The larger question, of course, is the question of immunity. And here I think we have to try to get information by every means possible without having to obtain that. If ultimately we do need to look at that, then we're going to want to talk to Bob Mueller, find out what prosecutorial equities would be involved. Those are going to be important, that we not interfere with what the Justice Department may or may not want to do. And finally, we would want a detailed proffer from the general of what he would say with a grant of immunity. That is, I think, far off in the future, though.
So you do still have immunity on the table, though, just to clarify. The Senate side committee has basically said there's no way we're going to offer Michael Flynn immunity. You are still open to it.
You know, count me as deeply skeptical, but I don't think we're anywhere near being able to entertain even that idea.
So what are the potential options for you? Do you see General Flynn potentially being held in contempt of Congress if he refuses to comply or his businesses refuse to comply?
You know, that's a possibility. Again, I would hope that we can get cooperation, and we may ultimately have to have discussions with his counsel about what is covered by the Fifth Amendment, what is not. And if there is too broad a disagreement about the legitimacy of any claim of Fifth Amendment protection, then we'll have to figure out what the appropriate next steps are.
More broadly, sir, there was obviously quite a bit of drama around your committee's work when the chairman, Devin Nunes, was involved in this investigation. How would you characterize your working relationship now with Congressman Conway, who's leading this investigation from the Republican side?
Well, I think it's far better than it was when we had the whole situation with our chairman in the White House. So it got us back to bringing in witnesses, having open hearings like we had yesterday. That open hearing was the one that had been, at least part of the one that had been canceled some weeks ago. So we are back to moving forward. It's not that we don't have any disagreements or different perspectives that we have to work through. There are still issues that we're going to have to wrestle the ground. But we are moving forward, and I think that's not only important but essential.
Have you, at this point, spoken with Mr. Mueller about the inquiry that he is leading at this point?
We have not. I've made the request that we get together, I hope in the very near future. I think it would make sense for our committee to meet jointly with Mr. Mueller along with the Senate, because we're really all three going to have to try to coordinate our efforts to the degree that we can. But I would like to see that happen sooner rather than later.